Welcome to Work the Left Side. I am beyond hyper hyped to announce tonight's guest. I am joined by the awesomeness that is the standout Billy O'Keefe. He is back for another chat. Sir, how are we?
Yo, not bad, mate. Not bad.
Good stuff. Obviously, welcome back. Thanks for coming back on again, talking. I wanted to say, it's only been a few months since we last spoke, but it's getting close to like a couple of years. It's
I was thinking about it earlier. It must have been like a year and a half to 2 years ago now.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff kind of gone on because I think, obviously, I don't even think you'd had the last man standing match with Sean at that point. Obviously, I think that thing was just starting to get going again. I think you'd just beaten him, with the whole El Bilzo thing.
I was still in the mask, I think.
Yeah. So a lot's gone on, man, since we last spoke. Obviously, like I sort of said, we've had the obviously we'll talk about it in more detail, but we've had the Sean Only sort of feud come to an end. You've been involved with the Riley Nova stuff. He was in the main event with like Vuzic and Brady Phillips at True Grit. We've had stuff going off at FCB. The formation of the Only Boys at BlackHeart. It's just been elevation as well. You've been I've seen you on the poster for those shows. You've mentioned about training there as well, and Pursuit as well. I keep seeing you popping up in the Team Pursuit photos. Dude, happy days.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. This year especially, it's really been like a good year for just trying to be here, there, and everywhere. Really.
I think, because I've spoken to enough people. I kind of know that, like I say, networking seems to be the key word. That seems to be half the battle. It's just getting yourself out there, getting yourself to shows, getting to know people. But yeah, dude, you seem to be everywhere at the minute. But again, something else we'll go into more detail on. Not a True Grit, which is really starting to wind me up, and I keep pushing at it. Every time a poster comes up, I'm like, oh, damn it, there's no Billy still. But no, it's teasing us. I know that return is going to be coming at some point. And then when I see you on the poster, I'll just be like, yeah.
No, I was meant to be on, I think it was October or something, but I already booked somewhere. So I was a bit good about that.
I'm can't be up for it. Exactly. So that's the thing, like I sort of said, basically this year, you've had the two matches with Riley, which I will go on record now and sort of say, obviously, I'll retract it was the 1-1 position. I was, like I sort of said to you before, I think that was just me being wishful thinking. I was like, come on, we need that third match. Riley, it is actually 2-0 to Riley. It's a shady 2-0. It should have been 1-1. I think that's what it is in my head. It should have been 1-1, in fairness. But yeah, you had those matches. You were in the tag match with Vuzic against Brady and Riley. Mate, that match was awesome as well, just to sort of put a pin in everything else at the minute and just talk about that. Because obviously the thing was whoever gets the pin for, challenges for the title. And you was a last minute replacement for Jet in that. But we said at the time, you just fit into it perfectly. And that shows, just what a year it's been for you, kind of thing, is that you fit perfectly in that picture. To be put into that match at the last minute, nerves, pressure, or just another day in the park?
It was a really fun match to work, to be honest, because like you say, it was with the stipulation being whoever gets the pin, it was so different to anything I've ever done in terms of the dynamic between me and Vuzic, and then obviously I had Riley and Brady sort of sowing the seeds of a turn there. Just putting it all together was fun in itself, and then I don't think we didn't know what we were doing fully till like 2 minutes before we went out. So it was a bit of a mad one, but I enjoyed it a lot.
I think that probably helped as well, though, because like I said, it's one of those situations where, like I said, normally it's a tag match. You would tag in and out. You wouldn't second guess it. I'm a little bit knackered. I'm going to tag out. Well, in this one, it's like, shit, I can't tag out, because what if I tag out and he gets the pinfall? I've got to stay in. I've got to do this myself, kind of thing. And I remember watching that. I think I've watched that match like 3 or 4 times now. And I said at the time, everything mattered. Everything that you did, everything Vuzic did, just the interactions. It is one of my favourite matches of this year, just purely, for the in-ring action and the story element as well. It was just, I found it very hard to try and get 90 seconds out of that match without feeling really bad about missing everything else out.
Yeah, it's one of them you can't really, for a clip, because it's such a story-based match, to clip it all together, you'd end up with pretty much the full match anyway to get the full story beat into it. So
exactly. But that showed as well. Obviously, you know, we've been saying for years, man, like how awesome you're on the ring and everything like that. And I was sort of saying about music, you know, last year kind of thing, right? It's one thing to be that good in the ring and be that smooth and, you know, enjoy the matches from that side. But when you start getting your teeth into a story, when you start pulling on the strings, you start drawing emotions, you know, that's the next level stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you've been doing this year kind of thing as well. You know, the matches are always great, but now they're emotionally great.
Yeah. When you go into it with something a bit more than just go out and have a good match, you can get a 10 times better match out of it.
And you don't have to do as much.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Just the smallest thing gets the big reaction kind of thing.
I think that's what made that one so good, because there was that much to play around with. There's certain stuff that we thought of that's like, we ain't got time to do it all. There were that many ideas being thrown around, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I say it was just, like I say, just you walking into the corner, go for the tag, and then realising and be like, oh shit, no, I can't do that, you know, turning around again. And just like music's reactions and stuff. It was just, yeah, mate, it was awesome. So massive pops and love for that one, because it was just, like I said, I've watched it so many times now. And, but obviously doing the reels for the intro, like, you know, looking back, watching both your matches against Riley again, Summer Riot, and you guys opened the show in York. I know I keep going on about it. I know it's 2-0, but it's not 2-0. It's 1-1, man. I want that third match. I'm desperate for that third match now, because I nearly put it out on socials like this might be the best first match on a True Grit show this year kind of thing. You know, just to set the bar, to start the show, just have like the clear-cut good guy, the clear-cut bad guy. Just have you two guys going out there and you just set the bar for the rest of the show.
Well, it beat me clean the first time, clean-ish. Second time, he needed help. Yeah. So I think third time I beat him, surely.
Exactly. You just think so, wouldn't you? You know, the odds are there. You know, I've got to remain unbiased. You know, I don't want to sort of get on the bad side of Ron Seal Riley, but it's just... And that's another thing I liked in that match as well, is you climbing up the top rope, and then he went to push Lee, and you just kind of sidestepped off the top rope, just onto the ring apron, just like, no, not this time, mate. You know, it just continued on from the first match.
Yeah. Like I say, when you've got a bit more to work with, like, we didn't know we were having a second match, but we thought, well, that was the finish. We need to include that in somewhere.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. And as fans, if you pick up on that, it's like, oh, okay, this is, It just makes it like that continuity, that storyline. Again, it just makes us care that little bit more.
There'll be a majority of the fans, I reckon, that won't have even clocked, to be honest. But I know that's when I'm watching wrestling and I see something like that, it pops me. So
you just sit there like
10% that see it.
Yeah, you got it. There it is. So yeah, for those people that did see it, acknowledged it, appreciated it, we're just like, we applaud you, because it's those little things that just make it sound extra cheesy. You know, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just that little bit extra.
Yeah.
Talking of quality matches, I'm just going to jump around a lot here, depending on what I'm thinking about. A couple of weeks ago, Blackheart, it's yourself, Joe Cedric, Seb Mercer, and the masked wonder that is Mega Calibre. I've fortunately not got to nearly enough Blackheart shows this year, but I know people that were there, people talking about that match. Dude, it sounded like it was an absolute belter, and just everybody was on point. You four guys absolutely delivered.
Yeah. Again, another really fun match, because that was slightly different, because that Joe and Mercer were really tied up in a storyline, whereas me and Calibre were just sort of in there to make it, I don't know, a bit bigger, if you want to say. But yeah, the way the match went, it felt like towards the end, it wasn't like move 1-2 kick out settle. It was just the last 50% of the match were just going. It just kept going. I was halfway through it. I was like, we haven't stopped. We're just still going. There's no time to breathe.
But I've been lucky enough to sort of, James has sent me, like, I think he sent me, I was messaging me, so like, mate, if you've got any clips. I need to see these clips, before I speak to Billy tomorrow. Please, please, please.
Yeah.
I know they had kind of issues or getting stuff set up at the last show because it was, really rushed. I think he sent me about eight or nine clips that they got from the balcony kind of thing, and I just stood there. I was just like, mate, this is amazing.
Nick
I think
real of it.
hopefully James doesn't mind me saying it, but even he sort of sat there and was like, he sat there and watched it as a fan. He was like, that match was genuinely amazing. It made him forget he was even connected, kind of thing. He said, I just sat there as a fan and just watched that match.
Yeah. That can be hard when you're like someone who knows wrestling. I find that a lot. It's hard to pull myself out of that wrestling brain and just enjoy it. So the fact I could do that for someone.
Yeah. I say it's got to be the biggest compliment you can get, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, 100%. The crowd helped though as well. Like BlackHeart's just been on such a upward trajectory this year. I think Winter said we did like 120 tickets before doors, and you've been to Geisler Theatre. It's just a small little theatre, so 120 people in there feels like 500. The noise, echoing around the acoustics, great.
That's the thing, obviously, because it's a theatre as well. It's designed to capture the noise in it, have it bounce around, and just kind of come back on itself. So I was speaking to, I think it was officially a sellout show. The last BlackHeart show was officially a sellout, and it's just like, mate, that is amazing. Because again, I make no secret of it. I love BlackHeart. I love the guys that are involved in it. Breezy, Winter, those guys, everybody behind the scenes, and it has just become. I think a few months ago, I was kind of like saying, one of the best kept secrets in Yorkshire wrestling. J-Wo was kind of like, it's not so secret anymore. I was like, no, it's not. It's really not.
No. Well, I've been there since like the first show we did there. And I remember there being sometime in the middle, maybe 2 years in, quite a bit of a dip. And we were only getting maybe 10, 15 people in there. So to see it full is just a testament of how hard everyone's worked to make it that sort of coming up place.
That's it, because obviously speaking to people, I know the main with it being at the Geisler Theatre, the massive chunk of the fan base are there. It's very, and that's the thing as well. It's why it stands out is it's very storyline driven. It is a very storyline promotion, which is great. That's right up my street. And I think at some point maybe that was the focus, but they found that balance now where it's the wrestling and the storylines kind of thing. And that's not to besmirch anyone kind of thing. It's a hard trick to pull kind of thing, finding it. It's either too wrestling and not enough story, or it might be too story and not enough wrestling kind of thing. But at the minute, you've got that balance with the talent that's there. The old school BlackHeart fans can still invest in the stories, but they're pulling in the new wrestling fan base as well, where people can go and enjoy quality matches.
I think that's just because of time. Like say maybe 3 years ago, it were a lot of people that had just sort of started out there. But then as we've come along, a lot of people have got more experience, and then a couple more people have come in, like Joe Cedric or Evan Knight or someone like that who've come in, and then we've got like TC Thorne, who was only a trainee a few years ago, but now you can consider him an actual wrestler. So just the quality has gone up like that.
That's it, yeah. It's the evolution, really. I suppose if you look back, like, so say that's the perfect way of putting it. Like I said, those guys, Creed, yourself, Sammy, Gung Ho. I hope, hopefully I'm not to besmirch Gung Ho, but if he looks back 2 years compared to what he's like now, he'll hold his hands up and be like, he's a million times better now than he was 2 years ago. Which, because of the character, he's more comfortable in the character now. He's making it his own. So
100%, all of us. Like I watched matches from 3 years ago of me, and I was like, I don't even recognize it. And like you're saying, people like Sammy and Gunnar and Creep, a lot more character-driven people have really come out of the shell. So people have connected to them characters a lot more.
Yeah. It's just it's everything's clicking into place. It's kind of like lightning in the bottle. Everything's coming together at the right time, and everybody's hitting the stride. The storylines are there. So I'll say it, until I can't speak anymore. But if you can get to Geisler, please. I feel hypocritical because obviously I don't get to as many as I do, but that's my fault. learn from my mistakes. Go watch it. It's always a great show. On the flip side of that, obviously FCB talking about Mr. Creep as well.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, obviously I've used the photo, for the episode. I just think I don't know who it is. I mean, shout out to whoever takes the photos at FCB. Literally some of the best photos I've seen this year. There's that one of you walking out there, and I've got one for Gung Ho, kind of like just on the ring apron, leaning back with his two disciples, kind of, with his two stooges catching him.
Yeah.
That is just freaking for a church, a church promotion kind of thing. I was like, mate, that is probably not intended, but that's like iconic for FCB. That photo, I was like, wow, it's the passion of Gung Ho.
Yeah.
But you and Creep, like I say, it's another thing that I use for the intro. The Force Count Anywhere match that felt different for an FCB match, but again, you guys just absolutely smashed it.
Yeah. We've been feuding all year. Like we had his first match in January, and then obviously paid it off at this last show. I've not done much in terms of like weapons and stuff like that. I've done a bit. Obviously, I had that match with Sean only, and then I think the week before I'd done a street fight with EGS tag match with J-Ro, and then the week after I had that, so I was kind of in the brain of using weapons by that point.
It had Lego as well, didn't
it? Yeah, not my idea. I just brought a bag of Lego. I was like, "Do you want to use this?" It's like, "You're gonna have to take it."
There was that one spot as well, though, where you climbed up on the I don't even know what to call it, like just the side of the building, by the door, by the windows, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you jump off of it. Well, I was like, mate, that looks mental. That's one of those moments that you could have just been like, yeah, that's a classic FCB moment.
Yeah, I was walking around before. I was like, there's got to be somewhere I can do a unique dive off or something like that. I saw the disabled lift at first. It's like a big lift to go up the stairs to the right. Shelby won't let me. So I was like, all right, what can I jump off that's definitely not going to break? Big steel beam. I'll be fine.
That's it. But just trying to get up there, I was just like, wow, disabled lifts though, man. That has just been like, that would have been a homage back to the old school Tidal days with Rampage Brown and Liam Slater. There's always that kind of tease of get him in the lift. Oh,
I was planning on like going in the lift and then just slowly going up. I thought that'd be quite funny. But,
yeah, just to like, what is it? Oh, yeah, it's kind of like, we just like imagine like being like, I can't remember what the film is now, but there's something in there, like there's a massive chase going on, and they're just getting something and it's just going really slow, and they're just like, for God's sake. You've got this fast-paced action match, you get in the lift, and it's like, right, okay, I'll just go get a quick drink, and then by the time I come back, I'll be at the top.
Yeah. Put an interval in.
But again, I'm mentioning these guys. I mean, I'll quickly just mention J-Ro. I've been talking about Blackheart. It's not just promotions that we've been talking about. Over at Wrestle Island, the Playtime Mafia been tearing up. You and J-Ro had a few matches, or a decent amount of matches this year. It looks like you're kind of building momentum.
Yeah. With I was talking to J-Ro about this the other day. Like, we've had a lot of really solid matches tag wise. Like I mentioned, the street fight with EGS. We did the whole Hammer and Anvil tournament at BlackHeart. So there were loads of tag matches in there, culminated with Meeting versus J-Ro. Jepson and Winter. That were a really good match. Just loads of like really a couple like random ones of just like Creep and TC in there that were a lot better than I was expecting them to be. So yeah, I think me and J-Ro have really like found it as a tag team now.
I think because I've seen the pictures and you've got the matching gear, everything looks on point. Obviously, I kind of did the tag team awards kind of thing, and PTM made it to like the semi-final kind of round. They got through. I think it started off with like 80 odd teams, and you got down to like the final 16. So obviously means you guys have been making an impression. I know a lot of people were voting over for like the Blackheart fan base, but also Wrestle Island side of things as well. So the fans are obviously kind of paying attention to what you're doing and enjoying it.
Yeah, well, we've got that, and then done a couple at Burnley this year. Got one at Kapow coming up. I think that's it tag team wise where we are. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be cool to. Do you know has it been announced yet for Powell, or is that still you just gonna?
I've just got the match graphic today actually.
If it hasn't been announced, I don't want you getting in trouble or anything, dude. But I'll just be curious as to who you would be facing.
Sneak preview.
Oh, nice. Because again, yeah, that's the kind of promotion you and Jay can just turn up at and just absolutely smash it. The fans will be. I've got to presume, obviously you're going to be there working heel, and yeah, it's just the fans are going to just constantly get on your back, and you'll just feed off of it.
I feel like we'll be face there, to be honest.
Oh,
because I've been face at Kapow, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see J-Ro and I just think heel. Just got to be a little trying.
Little dickhead, yeah, heel.
Yeah. Sorry, J-Ro. Play to your strengths, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the Kapow Burnley as well, that's another promotion that obviously I kind of see a lot of the match graphics for, but I've never got to go to a show, but they seem to be huge. They seem to be doing a lot of very cool sort of stuff. Where the shows are actually located as well, Turf Moor, even. So I can't even speak, sorry, dude. The whole setup, everything looks really, really cool. It's like, I can imagine it being a fun promotion to be a part of. On the day when you get there, it's just like, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's quite a laid back sort of locker room because I get a lot of guys that know what they're doing. Also, like I say, the venue's like a big indoor football pitch. Yeah. It's got a massive Titantron, so just to have that big Titantron, that's the best thing about it, I think.
It must make it obviously like when you guys get into this, to be a wrestler and stuff like that. That's obviously half of in your head when you're making your entrances. Again, every promotion's different. Every promotion's got its own kind of like levels and everything like that. But yeah, when you go somewhere and they've got that massive Titantron, that's what every kid sees in their head when they sort of think, I'm going to grow up to be a wrestler. Is them walking out in front of this massive video screen and the video playing and stuff like that. So it must just give you extra goosebumps.
Yeah, like I've done some venues where it's just like you walk out of a door that everyone else has walked through, and that's your entrance. But then to have a proper like gorilla position, you come out onto a stage, you've got pyro and your name and on Titantron. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
That's it. That's what you've been seeing in your head since you was however old kind of thing. It's just like But again though, it seems to be a lot of. So I might be wrong here if I get shot down in the comments. I'm pretty certain Jay Vertigo won the big belt at the last show. He's the current champ. We love Jay Vertigo. Vertigo's boss. So I was really hyped for that. But whenever I see photos, like Kemp is there, or Crossbow or Jake was there, Natalie Sykes was there. Seems to have a large pursuit sort of contingency going on. So there's a lot of people basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the Yorkshire lads that get over there. They've had Gunno on, like I say, all Leeds lot from Pursuit. So it's sort of a mixture of Yorkshire and Manchester that they get over.
Well, I mentioned Pursuit there. Obviously, last time we spoke, man, we focused heavy, on Wrestle, on the Temple, rightly so. Sean only learning from the man himself. But since we've spoken, like I said, I've seen you popping up at Pursuit. We was talking about Elevation before as well, before I hit record. And you sort of mentioned about hanging around there a little bit nowadays as well.
Yeah, I've been there a fair bit this year. I started going down because they had a quick few like seminars on that I'm quite interested in. Like they had Trent Seven and Rhino and stuff. So then I thought, I'll come down just some normal sessions, and been training under Joe Connors and Jack Selstrom, both amazing to learn under.
Yeah.
Obviously having the WWE experience, there's a lot there you can learn from, and just every time I go down there, I come away with something. Because it's about an hour and a half drive back. I've got plenty to think about on the way back. Yeah.
Are you going there on your Todd, or you got a car full?
I've been with Sammy once. Seb's come with me once or twice. It's mainly on my own, but I always try, say, I'm off down. Anyone want to jump in with me, sort of thing.
Dude, That's 'cause I mean, again, from speaking to people, as much as like we love tempo and everything like that, it is key. Or so many people kind of say, it's key to hit up like 2 or 3 different schools, or travel around, spice it up a little bit. It keeps it fresh, and you learn new stuff.
100%. Like I said, the more people you learn under, the more different knowledge you've got. Like, there might be certain stuff that I go down to Elevation for that I'll learn that I might not learn from PPW, that then I might not learn from Sean only, but then there might be other stuff vice versa. There's a lot of places now to get about to. Like, I physically can't fit it all in.
Dude, I must say, man, you must be like one of the most travelled, like hardest working people that I know. Facts, like anybody, I've got to tip my hat. I literally will tip my hat. So I've spoken to like Joe Cedric, yourself, Seb Mercer, Evan Bishop, a few guys. I know they go up to like Newcastle sometimes to train under Rampage, or they go down to BWR. Scotty Rourke and Reese and Rogan. Obviously, then you've got yourself at Elevation, Pursuit, and the Temple. But it seems to me like the guys that are getting my attention, or getting a lot of people's attention at the moment, are the guys that are doing that. Are going to more than like. I'm not saying everybody has to do it. I just think it's a great thing to think about. As people who are going to more than one school and mix it up a little bit. It just seems to be like those are the guys that are leveling up quicker.
The best way to do it, like, it's not just that. Obviously, it's the networking aspect as well. The more places you go, especially outside your local area, the more new faces you meet, the more opportunities you make, and then just the more people see you. Like I've been up to Rampage is one I'd like to get to more. I've been there a couple of times. Same with BWR, but between like Sean only, PPW, Elevation, like I barely get up to Wrestle Island anymore because it's on a Sunday. I end up, if I'm not booked, I get up there. But then I've been lucky enough the past sort of 3 months that I've pretty much been booked every Sunday. So I can't remember the last time I've been up, to be honest.
But it's always there. Like I sort of said, it's always there if and when needed. Like I say, if you get a Sunday and you don't have that booking, you can go and you'd be like, right, it'll just be comfortable. It'll be like slipping on your old slippers and just it'll be like you've not skipped a beat, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, it's I'd love to be up there more. I'd love to be at Rampages every week. I'd love to be at Elevation every week. If I had enough time, I would be everywhere every week.
Well, that's the goal. That's it. Like, if you eventually get to that point where you don't need to have that 9 to 5. I know that's obviously, but I'm not going to say it's everybody's goal, because some people are quite happy, doing what they're doing it for the fun of it, kind of thing. But you have got that group of people who, obviously, the end game is you don't want to be working 9 to 5. You don't want to sort of, an everyday job. You want to be getting enough bookings that is your job, and then that frees you up a bit more time to go to these different schools and learn more, I would guess.
100%. Like that for me, that is my ultimate goal. Not like a lot of people say, "Oh, I just want to get signed, or I want to be at WWE or something." Mine is just, I want to be able to just be a wrestler.
Yeah,
I want to be able to commit to that. However it happens, it happens.
Just obviously keep doing what you're doing, because it's it's awesome. Like I say, if you get up to the Newcastle one, again, I've just kind of got into wrestling in Newcastle this year, heavy kind of thing. I'm looking at a load of guys up there, and I'm just like, part of me, again, me doing what I do, me and Dad are fuckers for it, basically. We'll fantasy book loads of random stuff. And I'm just like, I'm watching like wrestling in Newcastle. I'm like, ooh, Henry Frost versus Billy O'Keefe. That'd be a bit tasty. Or, I'd like to see Joe Wade versus Billy O'Keefe at wrestling in Newcastle, because it'll be a new promotion for you, kind of thing. You could come in there and you could be a good guy, you could be a bad guy, but you against Joe Wade is just a match. I'm just like, I'm desperate for somebody to book it.
Yeah, I'd love that, to be fair. Joe Wade's great. Like, so like deceptively athletic.
Yes, but wrestling win is that promotion for me that it would work really well, kind of thing. And I just think, hopefully 2026, I'll put it out there into the universe. I'll keep sort of trying to manifest it. Yeah, Billy O'Keefe in wrestling in Newcastle, Billy O'Keefe in North. It's just, I think the Geordies need to get something to, that standout performance.
I made an appearance at North Weekender in the
You
Rumble
did, yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. Well, about a month ago now.
Yes,
So
because I
finally be on there.
I was in the Rumble, wasn't it? Because I remember I was talking to George because he posted a picture on Instagram of him hitting the moonsault on you in a North ring. And I just messaged, I was like, when the freaking hell did this happen? Have I missed George Hunter versus Billy O'Keefe at North? He's like, no, mate, it was just in the Rumble. I was like, God, for that. I was like, I was about ready to walk away. I was like, I say, mate, I've just, if I've missed that, I'm out of the game. I'm out the loop. I don't deserve to be here. You know, if I've missed George versus Billy, I'm calling it a day. But ever since we had that conversation, I was like, ooh. And North put that thing on Facebook recently, like, oh, what matches or who do you want to see, you know, at North in 2026? I was like, straight away, George versus Billy. I've seen the photo. It briefly happened in the Rumble. Now we need the match.
You teased it. I want it. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't just give me the little taste and not just give me the whole thing. It's just, but again, like I said, the fact that you're there, you know, it's the whole networking thing. You've been in a North Wing now. You know, you've spoken to the people, people in charge. Hopefully, they've seen what you can do. They've seen the awesomeness. So again, not to jinx it, but in my head, it's only going to be a matter of time, surely.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yes. I got way too excited. I've got a dry mouth now. But yeah, the thing is just like say wrestling in Newcastle. We've got North. I say this to so many people? It's just a crazy time to be involved in British wrestling. Like we've just sort of said, you know, the end goal is to be a wrestler. You know, obviously the toll it will take on your body, but you know, there's enough promotions out there now where it's possible you could get enough bookings on a week-to-week basis. It's doable.
It'll be very hard, but it's definitely going in that direction. Like I'm saying with BlackHeart, the trajectory we've been on, I've seen very similar in every other promotion I've been on. Everywhere is just getting fuller and fuller. So if that keeps happening, the more fans get involved, the more shows there'll be, the more companies there'll be, more opportunities there'll be for the boys. Then give it a couple of years, it'll definitely be viable for a few people, 100%.
That's the thing as well, you know. Like I say, there's promotions out there. I always kind of joke about it is that, you know, you never, no matter where you live now, you know, more than 15 minutes away from a wrestling show, probably no more than 30 minutes away from a really good wrestling show. You know, there's always something somewhere for somebody.
Yeah, 100%. Like everywhere's doing it now. I remember when I first started, there were only like UKW and Grapple. They were the only two sort of anywhere near you. And now obviously there's like FCB, Kingdom, PPW. I don't know where it was at the time. But yeah, there's so many places popping up.
I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not say like I'm not going to make myself sound too old, but you know, like I say, I used to have to go to like Preston, you know, to see a great show back in the day, kind of thing. You know, the PCW weekenders, or I'd have to go up to Hull to watch NGW. You know, Haskins and Rampage and Nathan Cruz and Matt Myers and guys like that up there. Whereas now I can just kind of be like, I can just jump in a taxi. You know, there's shows close enough that I could pay like £5 in an Uber. I'm like, right, cool, I'm off to a wrestling show. See you later.
Yeah.
Crazy. But again, it's got to be, you know, good for you guys. I don't know. Again, I can only speak about it from this side of the curtain, but I would presume, you know, it's just as it keeps getting bigger and better. I don't know, the positivity, the energy. You know, you guys are involved in something which is legitimately, genuinely exciting right now.
Yeah, definitely. And like, even with, I feel like more people are getting into it as well. Like all the training schools are full as well. So there's that many new people coming in. Whereas before it might have only been 5 people, now it's 15 people.
Because I mean, obviously people get involved, but fans as well. Like I said, you know, it seems like every show I go to at the minute, there's like 5 or 6 or 10, 20 new faces. And then you get talking to them, or you know somebody who knows them, kind of thing. They're like, "Oh, it's the first show. It's the first time they've been," kind of thing. And then you'll see them at the next one, or you speak to them after the show, and like, "That was freaking awesome. I'm definitely coming back to the next one." It's like promotions. Obviously, BlackHeart, you know, we sort of said, you know, that their last show was a sellout. So obviously they're pulling in new fans as well, kind of thing. And those people, I know a few of the new fans like Ian, Mr. Baker, the man. He started coming to Blackheart this year, and he messaged me. He's like, "Mate, it's so good." I was like, "Yeah, I know it is." I get to live vicariously through him now. I'm like, I'm so glad you're going because you can tell me everything that's going on. And then he's brought people along with him, and they're just like, "Hey, it's just it's whatever everybody's doing it's working, and people are enjoying it."
I think it's just a combination of everything. Like, obviously, with WWE going on Netflix this year, it's becoming a lot more mainstream, and then just the quality of wrestling in general just seems to be going up in terms of the British indies, and then like the quality of the shows. Like, my stepdad came to watch me at, I think it was the second Riley Nova match at True Grit, and he hadn't been to see me in years, and he just went, "Mate, the quality of like this, just like the production and everything compared to what you were doing a few years ago is nuts." Yeah.
That's it, because obviously nobody's seen, or if you don't know, like True Grit in York kind of thing. But like the same as at Left Bank, they've got the stage, they've got that Titan screen that we was talking about, they've got the pyro going off. Even though it's in a school, it makes it look legit. Like when you guys are coming out on your intros, the lights drop, the spotlights come on, everything like that. And you forget for a few minutes that it's in a school. It looks, like I said, the production just makes it look like next level.
Yeah, and that's what gets people back as well. Like I say, with my stepdad coming, he hadn't been in a few years. That impressed him as much as the wrestling did.
Yeah,
the fact that this much production value and time and effort's going into making it a show and not just a ring.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they haven't just plunked a ring in the middle of a room. Like I said, just put a curtain. Again, for the promotions that do, again, this is not to be smirched. This is got different shows, different levels, different, all that kind of sort of stuff. There's nothing wrong with a curtain over a door. But when you do get to these shows that have this kind of production, it just feels a little bit more special.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, it's a lot of effort and a lot of money that's got to be invested in to do that. And you've got to start somewhere.
That's it, exactly. I mean, obviously, yeah, you can look at True Grit now. Look at True Grit 2 or 3 years ago, and it's not, it's come on so much. But you've got to start somewhere, and that's the thing. When we're hyping up the production on stuff, it's not to besmirch the guys that aren't there yet. Again, everybody's growing. It's just everybody's getting there at different times.
Yeah, definitely.
I've just got to be really careful because I get overexcited. Oh, man, the production's great. I was like, I want somebody watching it being like, "Oh, I've got a curtain over the door. I feel like we don't matter." It's like, no, you do matter. You matter still, kind of thing. It's just, keep doing what you're doing. You'll get there as well, kind of thing. If that's what you want, or if you're happy with the curtain, that's fine as well. But again, like talking to True Grit, again, another reason I kind of really want to see you back is that obviously they've started, the Triller thing now. They've started doing this weekly episodic stuff. And I'm just like, obviously, I used to love watching you go on like BlackHeart when they did the weekly stuff, the Unleashed every week, I'm just like, yeah, Billy's suited perfectly for like TV kind of sort of stuff. You can put you out there, give you a storyline, you get your teeth into it, even if you're just cutting a promo. So you're one of these guys now, you've been around long enough where you could give you a backstage segment to do and you'd smash it. You don't even have to have a match every episode, just give you something to get your teeth into and let you run with it.
Yeah. Like before we did the BlackHeart stuff, I'd not really done much in terms of promo work, and I'll be honest, I wasn't very good at it. But recently, I've put a lot more time into it, thought a lot more about it, and I feel like I'm really getting somewhere with that sort of stuff. Well, they're just a lot easier to utilize as well. Like, you don't need to say if I've got a match coming at True Grit, whatever, I don't need to go somewhere and get someone to film it and do all this production value. If I can get somewhere decent to film it, get a decent camera, I can put out content myself, which that ultimately gets me over, gets more people invested. It's just a bit extra you can do, really.
Yeah, it gets more eyes on the prize, gets eyes on you. And if you get that reputation as being one of those guys that can do that, then that's going to get promoters' attention, because they'll be like, "Oh shit, if we book this guy, he's pretty much going to come with this fan base, or he's going to come with this reputation of getting the videos out there, which will then hopefully get more eyes on our product." I just think it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I want to do a lot more next year. I've got plans to. I'm doing something in my spare room at the moment to make it look like a bit of a promo area.
Ooh.
So that's the plan for next year. I'm putting it off at the moment. I decorate for a living, so last thing I want to do is come home and start painting.
Yeah. No.
But it's halfway there.
Good. That's awesome. And because that's the thing as well. Obviously, when you do the playtime mafia kind of thing, again, I've been to enough of your shows. Like I said, I've seen you work storylines, but I've also kind of just seen you be the quiet one. Stood behind. That's normally when J-Ro's there. To be fair, because he just kind of grabs the mic and just starts talking. But even in those moments, you've got the mannerisms. You've kind of got that character where you just kind of like, even though you're not saying anything, my eyes are still kind of drawn to him. You're like, what's Billy up to? Oh, okay, yeah, right, okay. It's just kind of like, I think it was the BlackHeart show when Sammy had just turned heel. And you just kind of stood there, you had your hood up. J-Ro and Sammy were just gobbing off. And you just kind of like, just looking at him like, yeah. But everything was in the facials.
Well, they're just such big, like, flamboyant, eccentric characters. Whereas I'm a bit more subtle and calculated kind of thing. So it wouldn't make sense for me to grab the mic and start spurting off. That's for them to do.
Yeah. But the fact that that, like say you've got that sort of nailed on so well, they say it's the subtleties, it's the little mannerisms, just the side looks or the turning of the heads, or even just looking away sometimes and just kind of like you're not quite shaking your head, but you can kind of see that you really want to.
Well, Sammy always does something to get a reaction out of me. He'll say something, call me something. That's been his job all year, to break me or get a rise out of me. Yeah, push the buttons, basically.
Poke the bear. Come on. Go on. Yeah. Make Billy laugh. Come on. Obviously, we kind of touched on it at the start. We haven't really talked about it. The going way back now. I'll say way back, about over a year ago. The end of the feud with yourself and Sean, you had that last man standing match. We talked about, not being overly comfortable with weapons. You dabble here and there. But that must have been a massive match to be a part of, obviously, because, it was Sean only. This storyline had been going on for a couple of years, since you made Under the Mask, you beat him in the open challenge. It wasn't really Billy. Was it Billy? Was it Bilzo? But then, all kind of, you got this massive payoff and you got the big W in this last man standing match. Again, getting to work with Sean is, I've got to imagine, just a walk in the park.
At this point, we've worked each other so much, we just know what we're going to do, basically. Obviously, it's a bit different with last man standing, but it might be my favourite match I've ever had, to be honest. That, like I say, just everything of the full story going into it, the fact that we really took us time with it. We went in there, we got plenty of time to play with, we got plenty of weapons and all that, and just the crowd with that into it as well.
Yeah.
I was a bit worried going into it, being a last man standing match, that there were going to be a lot of time of just dead air and the referee counting, but the crowd was into it from start to finish. There wasn't a silent moment. So yeah, it's probably my favourite match I've ever had there.
Wow, that's awesome. So I know Dan's kind of expressed, beforehand and afterwards, that last man standing matches aren't normally his cup of tea, but even he was like, mate, I love that match. It was awesome. Because like he's sort of, his main concern is, like you sort of said, that 10-second count. Is it kind of just knocking the wind out of the sails or stopping the momentum? But if it's done right, which obviously you and Sean did, like I said, the fans are getting involved. Yeah, it's a 10 count, but we're counting along. We're involved. We're emotionally connected now. We care. So it doesn't feel like dead air. We're there. We're counting. And if somebody stands up, shit, right, cool, let's go again, kind of thing. And then eventually, when somebody doesn't stand up, that's when you get the reaction, the pop of like, yes. And then you also, you had Stu come in for good measure afterwards.
Yeah. Got his revenge back. But like I think because we'd put that much time in before, like I say, going into it, the audience already cared.
Yeah.
So we probably could have done half of that and they'd have still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad you didn't, but you could have done.
No. I'd have done more.
That's the thing. I mean, when you're planning, because again, it's not last man standing matches aren't really common practice. I could probably count on one hand, the amount of ones I've seen in person, British wrestling kind of thing. So, I mean, does that make it easier that, you don't have this huge lot of things to follow? The bar's not been set crazy high, or?
Yeah, there's probably an element of that. Because like you say, it's not done a lot in terms
it's not
of
me, is it? I've not seen many of them. There hasn't been many of them, has there?
I mean, we're on the same show as the cage match, so we have to be wary of similar stuff to that. But even then, there's not too much overlap. Yeah, there wasn't really much where we was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that because of this. It was very much like, should we get that in there? What can we do with this? There weren't much limitation. Like I said, I think the biggest concern was the dead air. But I think the way we put it together and the fact that the crowd just wanted it.
Yeah. Not an issue. Yeah. That's not a factor at all. Like I say, you worked as, we was there from the start of the match, but you had us right where you wanted us. The populace, again, like I say, Sean being Sean, he's one of the best at telling stories. He knows how to turn from one page to another, from one move to another move. Is a master craftsman of the written word of the story. So
he's the man.
He's the man. Lesson learned for future. I'm just going to say that. I don't even have to say, what can be said in 20 words can just be said with the man. That's it. Keep it short, keep it simple, to the point. Sean only, the man. But going forward, like I say, we've talked about Elevation, Burnley, Pursuit, BlackHeart, FCB, True Grit. Obviously, actually kind of my last guest of this year, so we're going to start looking at 2026. I know BlackHeart have just announced the first show for next year, and I want to say it's the 4th or the 11th. I'm trying to figure out in my head now what date the Sunday falls on.
First Sunday in February.
First Sunday in February. So yeah, obviously, they're not doing it in January. So first Sunday in February.
Yeah,
that's it. Champagne nights and fist fights.
That's the one.
Any any cheeky details? Anything that you can talk about yet on that one? What's going on? Anything that you might be? Anybody you wanting to look to pick a fight with?
I don't know who I'm going to be fighting yet. A few people I'd like to.
Yeah.
George Hunter, obviously we've said.
Yep.
Evan Bishop, we've never had a one-on-one. Joe Cedric, I haven't worked him in years since our UKW.
So that'd be UKW days, wouldn't it? Yeah, you guys.
Me and Seb Mercer had a really good match last year, so I'd like to revisit that as well, potentially. And
yes. He beat you for the belt, didn't
he? Yeah. The Unleashed title.
Yes. No, he beat Sammy for. I can't remember. I'm totally losing track of it.
He beat Sammy, but I had a match with him for it.
That's it. Yes, that's it. Again, two styles that would work really. Yeah, I kind of want to see that match played over in a best of 7. I'll be quite happy with that. But you against Seb, I think would be. Yeah. All right. Now you've put that out there. I'm kind of like, okay, I really want to watch. I really want to see that again now.
I'm trying to get the footage for it. It has been recorded. It just hasn't been edited. So I'm trying to get that out.
Don't get me started on this. Been trying to get BlackHeart stuff out on to. Cause I was even like, so I know they stopped doing it on their YouTube. I've been like, look, I'm quite happy to be like, it's beneficial on both parts in my eyes. Kind of like, I'm quite happy to get like a match from a show, upload it on Work the Left Side YouTube. Pointing them in the direction of the promotion. I sent this over. I was like, mate, if I can get this match, or if I can get this match, I was like, if I can get Billy versus Seb, or for that fatal 4-way kind of thing, or Seb versus Sammy. I was like, mate, please. And like, yeah. Like, we'll find them for you. I'm like, and yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm gonna wake up one morning. I'm just gonna have a message. You'd be like, oh, is that match you wanted? I'm just gonna be like, You know, I'll get it uploaded on YouTube and stuff, get it for people to sort of see. Because I think again, you know, BlackHeart's awesome. You know, it doesn't need. I think that's the problem as well. Not in a bad way. Is BlackHeart sell tickets regardless. You know, sometimes they'll promote a show, sometimes they'll promote matches, sometimes they won't. You know, they don't have to. They're going to sell the tickets anyway. And I think obviously with this footage, they don't need to put it out there. But for me, I'm just kind of like, I really want to watch it. I know a lot of people who would love to see it. But it's also like, you know, you guys are having these amazing matches. And if people outside of the building get to see them as well, man, that's got to be all good.
More promotion, the better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking anyway. But again, that's just me I'm looking at it from my fans' perspective. Like, I didn't get to see him. If I get to see him in some way, shape, or form, but if I have to beg and plead for the footage, I'm going to do that. And then if I can get other people to see him as well, it just means more people for me to talk to. And they'll be like, mate, have you seen this match? And they'll be like, yep. And I'm like, fucking awesome, wasn't it?
I want to make sure that theatre is sold out every month now.
Dude.
After December, 100%.
It's just, like I said, though, now you've tasted it. Like I say, I can't even imagine. Like I say, it was when I've been a few times, it's been close, you know, and just the noise when I've been there, like they say, because the acoustics and everything like that at full capacity, mate, that must have just been get goosebumps on goosebumps just walking out, and it just being like actually taking a second, you know, just when you step out and looking around and be like, oh shit, like it's crazy.
It's easy as well, because like you've that many people who know what's going on. Not that you don't have to try for reactions, but it just comes so much more natural. You don't have to. You can be more in the moment with it and just let it flow.
Dude.
Like I say, with that away match, we were just riding the wave throughout the whole thing.
Oh, dude, it's just. Like I say, I tried. I mean, like I say, you know, J-Ro corrected me. You know, it is no longer the best kept secret in Yorkshire wrestling. It's out there. Everybody knows how awesome it is. I just hope as well, though. Obviously, you know, if it's selling out, you know, it's going to put pressure on the guys to be like, you know, obviously, Guiseley Theatre now is your home. It's kind of like the ECW arena for Blackheart. I can't ever imagine you guys not being there.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it starts filling and starts selling out, then is it going to have to be a case of like, oh shit, you know, do we have to go to another location, or are we just happy turning people away and just filling this place up? But again, you know, it's not a bad issue to have.
No, it's either that or do more dates or whatever. But
a Blackheart weekend for a Saturday and Sunday.
Let's do it.
Dude, Winter and Breeze are going to hate us for that. They're going to be like, no, it's not happening. You got the Blackheart stuff coming up. I say, fingers crossed, you know, I'm going to keep putting that out there. I'm going to keep manifesting it. You know, seeing you back in True Grit again soon. You got the Burnley stuff going on. Anything coming up? Not matches. I don't want any spoilers or anything like that. But is there anything coming up that you want to shout out, or any sort of shows coming up that you can tell us about?
It's obviously FCB. That's in January. The Kingdom. I've just won the belt there, so there'll be a lot coming there next year.
I forgot to mention that. Kudos. Congratulations. It's another belt to the title.
Where else? Obviously everywhere. I'm Wrestle Island, Kapow.
Yeah. I'm keeping my eyes out now as well, because like I said, you know, I'm trying to broaden my horizons, and you've mentioned Elevation. We talked about it earlier. Every time they seem to be putting out shows like freaking every week, you know, in different areas like Colville, Loughborough, in different places. So I always keep my eyes peeled on their posters. And at some point, I'm just like, look, you know what? If we don't get Riley versus Billy at True Grit, I want Riley versus Billy at Elevation. That'll do me as well.
Put it on everywhere. Elevation are doing great. Like, they do sometimes 2-3 shows a weekend, and they're selling out, doing like when I went to, I think it was 250 tickets had sold out the Sports Hall again, they had like a big Titantron set up in
Yeah.
there. So they've got a few venues like that, and then they've got a few sort of little ones, like smaller halls or working men's clubs, and they seem to be selling out every single one.
It's weird because, like I said, it's just if you follow Elevation on the socials, like I said, you'll see like shows being advertised like here, there. Like you sort of said, you know, like putting 2 or 3 on a weekend in different places. That's crazy for British wrestling. I've never known a promotion kind of, you know, do that or have the capabilities to do it. But yeah, obviously, you know, they're doing something right and the shows are full of like quality people as well. You know, it's really talented. Like, you know, they've got Simon Miller on shows. Obviously, you know, you've been on one, and Serico, Kirby, obviously Riley Nova, Regan, Lee Hunter, Connors, you know, Freya Rose, Vega. Yeah,
I think they're just doing it right. Like, obviously, they've got the training school and they've got their own guys who they're obviously bringing up and putting on as many shows as they can. And then they're bringing in like more top names who are going to bring a bit more, pull a few more fans in, a few more eyes, which are then getting their guys seen, which makes them more of a draw because they get invested in them. Sort of like we've done at BlackHeart, the more they get invested in these smaller up and coming characters, the bigger the promotion gets in general. Yeah, there's just doing a lot of things right down there.
Love it. And obviously I'm a little bit biased with it. It's based in Loughborough, but I kind of count it as a Nottingham promotion, so it's got my attention. But dude, so yeah, man, fingers crossed. Obviously, I think, you know, we've been said how great this year's been. You know, we've reeled off X, Y, Z. You know, everything from A to Z of what you've done this year, the achievements, the titles, the matches, the storylines. But I don't even think, you know, we've seen a 10% of it yet. I think 2026 is going to be huge. So I don't want to jinx. I always kind of feel like a bit of a mug when I say, "Oh, mate, you're going to have a great year next year," kind of thing. Because I'm kind of like, "Oh shit, I'm not going to jinx you now," kind of thing. But
jinx it, I'll break my leg in January now.
Dude, don't. I'll start a GoFundMe. I'm like, I feel really sorry. Like,
no, that's the plan. Better every year. That's
but
the plan.
As a fan, obviously, yeah, you know, I'm kind of looking at what you've done this year and be like, mate, this is just going to be, you know, it's the tip of the iceberg. 2026 is going to be huge. You know, every promotion you've worked this year, you'll work then, and then extras will be added. We'll get that George Hunter versus Billy O'Keefe match at North. I'll get to see Joe Wade versus Billy O'Keefe at Wrestling in Newcastle. You know, we'll get Riley at Elevation. Dude, it's just, the world is your oyster at the minute as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I say, put me everywhere against everyone.
Yes. Billy O'Keefe everywhere. Being Billy O'Keefe, I've got this old film reference, but film called Being John Malkovich. And it's just like everybody's just got John Malkovich's face on them. I just kind of want to see that poster now. It's just Billy O'Keefe everywhere. And it's like being Billy O'Keefe everywhere you look. Just never have enough of Billy O'Keefe. Dude, thank you so much, obviously, for coming back on. I kind of feel like I've got overexcited and overhyped. I've talked way too much, more than I should have done, so apologies. But, hey, yeah, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, bro.
Dude, not a problem. Do you want to let people know where they can find you on the socials and so they can see what you've got coming up?
Just search Billy O'Keefe, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I don't like Twitter.
Nope.
I've deleted Twitter. I hate Twitter. Everywhere else.
Instagram's the one-stop shop for me now, really. I'll sort of say, you know, for you guys, because it covers everything, you know. I mean, you get that visual element. You can see show graphics, you can see show posters, you can see the highlight reels. It's just, yeah, for me, it's the one-stop shop for advertising wrestlers.
Yeah,
it's just like
the main one for me as well, but I have the others just because kind of need them.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's better to have a few more.
I won't have social media at all. So
no. Well, I get on, I post my stuff, I get off, kind of thing. But yeah, you need it. It's, you know, the devil's burden. But yeah, obviously, if you're not following Billy, hit that follow button, subscribe, check out everything that he's putting on there. If you can get to a show where he's at, please get to one. If he's got any teas on sale, buy a t-shirt, buy some merch, show some support. Obviously, Billy is our last guest of the year. We will be back next year for the end of year awards. It's something I've not even mentioned, dude. I totally forgot. You know, you made it. You was in the final 4 for Wrestler of the Year for the Work the Left Side. There was you, Adam Bolt, Kemper, and RPD. I'll make this the last thing that we talk about very quickly, but yeah, dude, that's got to be, again, I know it's just Work the Left Side. I know kind of like, you know, it's a bit of fun, but a lot of people do get behind it. A lot of people do vote, you know, in these polls. And mate, we started off with like 80 people. You know, you got to the final 4.
Yeah, that's, like I say, it's only just to put on Facebook and Twitter and all that, but to have like all your audience voting for me and getting me that far against guys like Kemper, who's main event of True Grit, Adam Bolt, who's doing great stuff, RPD, who he's done did you GCW Bloodsport this year?
Yeah, I'm progress.
Best shows in wrestling. Yeah, to be in that conversation with them sort of lads is honor, really. As soon as I saw RPD was in the final, though, I knew I wasn't winning. I saw how many votes he got in the round before. I was like, second's all right. I'll take second.
To be fair, though, dude, that's it. You know, maybe if he wasn't there, dude, I could have been crowning you Wrestler of the Year for Work the Left Side, and I would have just been like, you know what, I wouldn't have had an issue with it either. I would have been like, the year that Billy's had is fully deserved. So for me, all 4 guys, well, anybody, I say all 4 guys, all 4 of you have had awesome years. But out of all the 80 people that we started with, everybody should give themselves a big pat on the back. I'll close on that basically. So if you're involved in wrestling, whether it's in the ring, backstage, a referee, announcer, yeah, as much as we enjoy doing these awards and announcing the winners, if your name even got mentioned, or even if it didn't and I forgot about you, I apologize. Be happy, be proud, give yourself a massive pat on the back. You're involved in something you love, and that's awesome. So, but I'm starting to gush now, so I'll let you get gone. Everybody else, thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share, comment, all the generic stuff we ask you to do. Keep your eyes peeled. As I say, we've got some big guests coming next year. And yeah, remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.